teaching material properties, and then you're supposed to curve it from there. Like,
Yeah.
That's annoying.
Let's get started. Thank you guys for joining us today. Okay. So, as usual, I thought we can go around and do introductions. Roses and thorns, like one good thing, one bad thing from your past week, and one thing you're looking forward to. So, one good thing. So I'll start off. Roses. Yesterday was the Diwali celebration at Penn Pavilion. I don't know if any of you guys came. So that was fun. I guess the thorn I would say is that we started running out of food, which was a little sad. But that's okay. And one thing I'm looking forward to. I don't have any exams this week, so my definition of a chill.
Cannot believe.
Yeah. So, Simon, you want to go next?
Sure. I'm Simon. I'm sophomore. So I say one good thing and one bad thing.
Well, yeah, one good thing, one bad thing, one thing you're looking forward to.
Oh, okay. So a good thing was, I don't know, it was a long week, but so, I mean, I got through it, so that's the good thing. Bad thing is I still have one last midterm before break, and it's right before break, so it's fine. And then one thing I'm looking forward to is I'm going grocery shopping today. So
I think grocery shopping is a lot of fun.
it is.
Yes.
People judge you for it, but like they haven't experienced it.
We're such young, wild teenagers.
Get a Harris
You
Teeter.
should pull Zac Efron and skateboard through the aisles.
What movie is that from?
Huh?
Is Zac
I don't know, I
Efron?
think there's just a picture where he's like skateboarding through the aisles, like picking up things. I'm like, wow, that's so cool.
Oh,
I'm Jordan, I'm a sophomore. My rose would be I got to see my mom this week. She came to visit. My thorn would be I haven't started any homework for the weekend. It's gonna be the rest of my day. And my bud would be I'm going to Boone on Friday.
My rose would be that the Quidditch team got our bid to nationals, which is why I wasn't here last weekend.
Amazing.
The thorn would probably be at the expense of my neck, my shoulder, and my knees.
Are you?
Trent, is there any body part at this point that you have not injured?
Let's hope so. Well,
No. No.
Oh, God.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I was gonna say like my toe, but that's a lie because I got tweaked and
Ow.
one of my toenails came off.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah.
Well, anyways.
Wait, what's your bud?
Oh yeah, what are you looking forward to?
Nothing.
Jeez. It's winter, so but.
Hi, I'm Alexa. I'm a sophomore. My rose. I don't think I have one.
Sorry.
No,
I got to sleep in a little bit this
Okay,
weekend.
that's a solid rose.
I shouldn't have though because I'm midterm on Tuesday.
Same.
Thorn. What's my thorn? I don't even know. I'm
Bio exam.
Chem, honestly, Orgo kicking my butt. Then Bud is Thanksgiving break.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, I should have said that.
it's too far away though.
Marian, Simran, you guys wanna introduce yourselves? What's your
Yeah, sorry. So something that happened this week that's pretty cool was I had a swim meet. I'm at it right now, which is why I'm not there. And then something that I'm looking forward to on like this week is I go home on Friday for my dog's birthday, so it'll be fun.
Good luck on your swim meet.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we just have one more race left. It's just a relay, so.
Wow, thank you so much for joining us from there.
Go fast.
Oh yeah, no
Yeah.
problem. You sent out the link like right
Go
after I
fast.
finished my last race, so it was good timing.
Okay, I guess I'll go now. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, hi. I'm Marion. I'm faculty advisor, and I'm in the lobby of a hotel right now because I'm at a conference in Columbus, Ohio, and it's just finished, and I have like the whole afternoon to kill before I catch my flight back to Durham. So yeah, good stuff. I gave a paper, and it went really well, and I met some great people at this conference who are, some of them are working on similar stuff to me, so that was great. Bad thing is just that conferences are exhausting, so I'm going to be kind of burned out for a little while, just in terms of like having to wake up early every day, you know, all of that, and just all of the constant socializing and performing, you know, kind of nonstop. But I'm looking forward to getting back to Durham soon so that I can get back to normal. So great to see everybody.
Yay.
Yeah, so last week, it says, get started, last week we talked about how there are many websites associated with Duke Disability Alliance out there, and we desperately need to kind of organize that, because there have been a couple of instances where outreach has been sent, like emails have been sent to like the wrong address, and people are like, we reached out to DDA and didn't hear back, and I'm like, we didn't get anything from you, so just wanted to ask if any of you guys were able to figure out anything. I know Maddie emailed messaged Cookies, who was the president a couple of years ago. Hasn't heard back yet, but yeah. You guys know.
Technology and I do not get along well together.
I mean, one thing we can do if there's going to be multiple email addresses and we can't like dissolve the accounts is to have forwarding set up so that anything that goes to the neurodiversity and inclusion at gmail.com
Go straight to us.
goes straight to Duke Disability Alliance at duke.edu. So that's just a matter of logging in and setting that up. But there is one other email address, which I think is Duke Disabilities Alliance at gmail.com, that Cookie still, like none of us have the login details for that. So that's where we need her to step in and either delete the email address or like, and change what it says on the old website, or to set up forwarding or something. Either way, we need her help on that one.
Okay. Yeah, so hopefully she replies to Maddie soon, because I feel like it will be hard to do all of this without all the proper login information. But yeah, so there, as I said, like the executive note, there are a lot of like projects or just different things that are in motion right now, but some things are a little more stagnant and other things just require a little more planning. And I just want to make sure that things don't fall through the cracks. So I was hoping that all of y'all could sign up or just promise to be a little more involved in one of these sub-projects, like whether that means like communicating with the other people involved, just planning or scheduling things, updating the rest of us. Jordan, I know you're already working with ASL, so you can tell us more about what's going on there. And then if somebody else could also just work with Jordan and DSG and everyone and kind of keep the ball rolling. Just want to make sure that nothing falls through. So
Well,
yeah.
for ASL, like this week, I had two things. So one was I think Dr. P, like your students reached out to me and like they had an interview with me about like ASL and like just the survey and like why I was interested in it, and so like I told them a little bit about that and then about DDA and stuff like that. And then they also got in touch with DSG and then got me in touch with people on DSG. So I wrote like a small blurb for them to put in their email. So I think that like this past week the DSG sent out an email and like the ASL survey was in there with that blurb. So that was like a way to get more people to sign up. So I'll check the results when I get back to my room to see if like there has been more replies and stuff like that so far.
Thank you. That's awesome. That's great. Sounds like real progress.
Okay. What was written?
Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah.
Go down a bit more. Over there.
Up.
Number 6, yeah.
Okay.
Better than my Italian too. Yay. I feel bad because I don't read these emails.
Problem is that sending out surveys like this, since most people don't read the email, it's kind of hard to get an actual gauge and reach out to people.
Well, I know my roommate or my blockmate. She sends emails, so there might be some more people like her.
I read it. I mean, I think it's definitely good for a start.
Definitely.
I think this is good. Hopefully, like usually these kind of blast emails have like a 20 to 25% like click rate. So like 75% of people don't even open the email, and but the people who do like kind of read it all. So hopefully that gets us more responses. I like this word. Maybe just for next time, Simrit, run it by the rest of us before you send it out. Just because we want to make sure that more eyes gloss over it before it's like sent to the entire student body. But other than that, yeah, thank you. This is, hopefully this will get more responses, but, yeah, and, there we go. I guess this also is, in turn related to your students' projects, and how is the ASL group coming along?
Well, I think that Simran's update just now was a pretty good update of their progress. That's actually, I hadn't heard those things yet, so it sounds like they're making good steps. The last time I checked in with them would have been not this past week, but the week before that, because this week I wasn't teaching on Friday because I'm at this conference. So, and Wednesday's class, we had a guest speaker in narrative medicine, so it wasn't a time that wasn't a time for me to check in on group progress. So it sounds like they're doing a lot of connective work between Simran, the survey, and DSG, and that they're working on their article. So they, in terms of the progress, they have to have a draft of their piece done by Tuesday of this week, and then I'll be like giving them feedback on it in class on Wednesday. So I'll have more info next week regarding people's progress toward publishing on these topics. So we're gonna have like time to workshop the pieces in class, and then they'll be revising them and sending them to the Chronicle, the Standard, or wherever they wanted to try and publish it. So so that stuff is like still coming down the pike, but a lot should happen this week.
Okay, cool. And Jordan, have you heard anything from like the DSG side or?
Yeah, so I guess GBM's priority right now is working on the courses that we're bringing in from the external instructor for next semester. I think we're planning to like look at DSG again after that begins to actually use all the interest that we have in that course as like evidence of all the interest on campus. So I don't think reaching out to DSG has been our biggest goal right now, but I'd love to hear from Jaja next time she's here about what steps she would want to see that we could take to like begin that draft.
Yeah. Is there anything GDA can do to help like ASL club out with the course planning?
Course planning. Can I get back to you on that? Yeah, just get their 2 numbers about that.
Yeah, sure. So I'll just like keep you and Simran like as like the main people.
I will say like one thing we want to do is we want to look into ASL really like events on campus, seeing if we could like bring a speaker or some kind of information session. So we could team up with that. That'd be awesome.
Okay, so I will put my name down for that and just keep an eye out
Yeah,
for
that'd be awesome.
yeah, what's it called, speakers or whatever. Or we actually, gosh, Simon, would you be able to look into the ASL things?
Sure.
Because just for the next thing, body positivity, I already have told. So a couple meetings ago, Steph came, who is part of the Body Banter Club. She came and spoke to us about collaborating on an event in early next semester, like early January, mainly about like, I think her idea was hosting like a panel discussion about like disability and body image with like students, grad students, people from the rec center, faculty if possible. So we just, she and I are meeting up on Wednesday to kind of talk things out a little bit more. But I think it would be good to have some help in terms of just organizing things at the rec center. It may not be until like later on, but Alexa, you're like, do you know like the ins and outs of Wilson and the rec center?
I don't know anybody in there personally, but I go there a lot.
Okay, honestly, that's better than me. Yeah, we've been in touch with Ray Garstecki, who's one of like the head people at Wilson. So when it gets closer to it, would you be willing to just like keep communicating with her and make sure that things go on?
Yeah, you have my number.
Awesome.
Did I spell Garstecki right?
I'm pretty sure there's an I in there, not a Y. Unclear.
Oh, you're right. I did that every single time. We've mentioned her name so many times.
That would be good. And then Simon for ASL, if you could just like maybe research like potential speakers and just like give it, you helped plan the museum event just last year, right?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So yeah, just like
Yeah, and
potential guest professors, or I don't know what your plan is for the course.
Not for the course, but like for an event that we were.
For an event.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's bringing more
guys already-
awareness on campus.
Are you guys already planning on the event, or?
We haven't done any planning for the event, because it's a longer goal that we talked about.
When does ASL meet, and depending on the time, Simon, would you be able to go to their meeting?
Yeah, for this semester, we just kind of meet infrequently, but next semester we'll be meeting every week.
Okay, cool, so just let us know when the meetings are and when.
Awesome, yeah.
Okay. And I think there's also like a private message, like a Facebook group chat, just to like kind of be more efficient with communication, because not everybody reads emails, so Simon, like.
Do you want me to do that?
Yeah, if you could add Simon to that, that would be great. Yeah, and then also last week, Ua, who is the vice president of German Regional Affairs, and Ariel, who is like the DSG disability advocacy liaison, came and talked to us last week and told us a couple of ideas that they had. One of which was organizing a training session for people involved in Rush. We need to talk about like implicit bias and kind of increase, spread awareness about implicit bias or just disability things in general, just things to keep in mind, especially, which is really important just going into Rush, because you're and a faculty training, which I think Marion has also done a lot of work on it, so it would probably be good if they could talk to you. And just also getting started on a project for accessibility in Durham. So these are all great ideas, but they're also in the very like preliminary. Yeah, they're very big.
Especially that last one too.
Yeah.
I don't go out into Durham enough to really get a grasp of it.
Barely any students do, is the thing.
I think if they want to address something about Durham accessibility, it's gonna have to be like a specific aspect of it and not just
Something general.
Durham accessibility.
Yeah, start with a bite, not like the
Something
whole
like,
dish.
something specific that they can really hone in on.
This is something that like was kind of mentioned afterwards. The main thing that they were talking about that seemed to be the most hashed out idea was the rush training, and it just seemed like the most feasible out of all three. I'm not trying to like underscore the importance of this. It really is. But at the same time, you guys are right that it's like very big, very general, and needs to be made more specific. But it's just somebody could help keep in touch with Ua and Ariel, and just figure out like okay, what are things we can do, create like action items, or keep communicating. I feel like that's one thing that is really important when it comes to like planning events, especially, or programs, is that if communication falls through, then like that's it. So is there anyone who could like potentially like keep in touch with UR, Ariel? I don't know if attending DSG meetings would be all that helpful, but if it comes down to that, then maybe that too.
Well,
I just wanted to say in relation to the Durham Accessibility Project that it's like it's too big for us to take on in addition to all the other things that we're doing right now. It's kind of one of those things that I hope we can continue to move towards. And I feel like the best way to do that is if we had individual members of exec or even just within DDA as a larger group who are interested in public policy, civil service, government, law, any of those topics, because it would, getting involved in something like this would be like on the ground real experience. So like maybe DDA should be thinking through like what are ways that we can get students like credit for doing this, like credit that counts and looks like, you know, an internship or just like volunteer experience or just like work experience that helps them toward a career. I'm thinking of like someone like Kevin Solomon who does work with
He would have jumped on this.
yeah, like how he came with me to the Durham Mayor's Commission for Persons with Disabilities last year, just because he's like generally interested in learning about this kind of thing because he's interested in like going into politics. So, so like, you know, he's obviously not at Duke this semester and maybe not in the spring either. He's abroad, right? But yeah, like if there's students with interest in like pub pol and all that stuff, it's actually a really cool opportunity. And maybe we should start thinking through ways that doing that kind of work could be beneficial to you in your future careers. So like, I don't know if you want to like propose a Bass Connections or, you know, something like that where you get credit for that kind of field work, or maybe like we could, through a certain faculty member, create sort of service learning opportunities or a course, you know what I mean, where people are kind of getting out into the field. And I don't know that a writing 101 would be the best place for that. That's what I teach. But like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we shouldn't abandon that conversation. It is probably more than we can handle right now. But I feel like we should just like try and think about ways that we can carve out space so that students would be getting credit for doing Durham accessibility work.
Yeah, these are all really good ideas. Thank you.
I just think that we should hold off on it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Like at least for the semester.
We should think about it, I guess.
Keep it in the back of your minds, let it simmer.
Because I feel like, especially about the credit part, that will really let us move forward with it. Because if we could even like, I don't know, propose it to, I don't even know how you propose something like a Bass Connections program or a first story program.
Whether it's like independent Duke Engages or Bass Connections, there are definitely like outlets and channels that Duke provides for you to do this kind of work. It's just a matter of is somebody willing to really take the initiative and get the ball rolling? Because I think that like it's
or a Story Plus, yeah, like a Story Plus summer program. That actually might be the best fit.
A what plus?
So, Story Plus. Yeah, it's through the FHI. They're like student. It's really interesting, like vertically integrated research teams over the summer that are focused on stories. So like, I don't know if you guys are aware of like the ones that they had last year. There were interesting ones on like graphic medicine, like narratives of HIV and AIDS. Another topic, some of them were specific Durham and Duke. So there was one on the Duke Chapel and like who constructed the Duke Chapel, who worked on the Duke Chapel, and just like unearthing stories and histories about that. And then, I mean, I don't know, like to make it fit the genre, it's like what kind of like student team-led research could we apply to Durham in relationship to disability? Would it be like talking to the disability community, getting their stories? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? So like Story Plus is kind of a specific approach. It's not as much focused on like buildings and structures and businesses, but more like people's experiences and lives. And there's a data component. There can be a strong data component to that. So it's again, it draws on lots of different disciplinary approaches to gathering knowledge. So I don't know, something like that for future could be cool. And if like you guys if any one person involved in DDA had ideas for that, it would really only take like one student talking to one professor, and like then it starts the ball rolling on something like that. So yeah, these are again long-term projects, I think, because it would, you know, I think we're already too late to apply for Story Plus for this summer. It would have to be like, you know, we'd be working on it next year, and then the following year it would start. So yeah, it's a long-term conversation.
That's good to know. So I guess keeping just for now in terms of more short-term feasible projects. Is there anyone willing to keep in touch with UA and Ariel about rush training? Because I don't know about you guys, like, feel free to disagree, but I feel like this is the most feasible, doable thing that we can actually see put into place within like the next next year or two, maybe not this coming rush season, but the year after that. Alex, I know you're telling us about how like Greek rush and SLG rush, like they do tend to be a little different in terms, I guess Greek rush is a little more organized, like all of the sororities and fraternities do meet at some point for like open house or whatever.
Or panhandle.
Yeah. So,
And I don't know about France, but I know for sororities.
oh yeah, so I think this would be more focused or geared towards SLGs, which are a little more distinct, I guess, so.
I think maybe someone familiar with SLG Rush or even Rush in general.
So not me.
I don't know. I know you're.
I mean, yeah, I was involved in handheld rush. I don't know about SLG rush. No.
I'm not involved in roundtable rush, I guess, per se, but,
Right.
So I guess we can table that for now, come back to it next week, but, yeah. Yeah, so, okay, so for ASL and then like body positivity at least, so I will communicate with Steph and Alexa, you can communicate with Lay and like the Wilson people later on when it gets closer to the date and we have a little things more hashed out. And Simon and Jordan, you guys are gonna be talking. So, yeah, if any plan or schedule comes out of that, just please let us know like in the next 2 weeks. And yeah, that'll be good. And then I also wanted to take a moment and talk about how we're doing this semester, just like be honest, like evaluate DDA, like if you guys want to share like what are we doing well, what could be done better, in terms of like, is there anything you feel we should continue or stop? Do you guys actually read the recap emails? Are they helpful? Yeah, and Mary and Simran, feel free to pipe in if.
I'm good with the recap emails. They're the reason why I'm not completely lost.
Okay, well that's good to hear.
Yeah, I read the recap emails whenever like I can't make it, and then you know I think those are helpful. I feel like maybe if we like I don't know if we like there's like a lot of like disability groups like out in Durham. Like what if we like tried to fundraise for them and like we can like table and gather money and like we can help donate to those kind of like organizations as well. That's just like a thought I had.
Fundraising for other. Has anyone tabled in the past and can speak to their success rates? Because I know a lot of organizations table in the BC and they'll have like donuts and lasagna cookies out and you like fundraise, like try to be fundraising for some cause or event. And I think we during Disability Pride Week we also partner with
PICAP.
PICAP, yeah, PICAP. Yeah.
Oh, and then there's Dunkadichi.
Or we tried to do that and then it like got canceled because of weather. I don't really know. Yeah, so Marian, can you speak to like this? How well do those things turn out? Because it is like I feel like it's a good idea, but is it like the most practical or worth it? Is I guess my question in terms of like time and commitment that would go into planning it and what we would get out.
Yeah, so I don't know if PICAP actually was raising money or
I thought it was just
actually no, it was the pieing part was a fundraiser. The tabling that we did with them was not a fundraiser. It was just to get people. It was to get people to sign the pledge for Accessibility Matters Day and to walk only accessible routes for that day and like to tell about their experiences. So lots of people would sign the pledge and then we kind of didn't hear back from most of them after that. So again, like I think we talked about in a previous meeting, it might be more might make more sense to have Accessibility Matters be an ongoing photo campaign series rather than just a one day kind of a pledge. And the fundraising, I have no idea how much money they raised through Pi Cap. You'd have to ask somebody from the fraternity because like I don't think the DDA was ever privy to that information. So I don't know. I was actually curious, Simran, what groups you meant when you referenced wanting to raise funds for groups, because there are a lot of different organizations that we have sort of partnerships with. We haven't conceived of ourselves as being a source of fundraising for those groups, but that doesn't mean that we couldn't be. So I just was curious about which ones that you were talking about.
So I know there's a group out in Durham called Reality Ministry,
Okay.
and it
Yeah.
kind of like deals with adults that have disabilities and they're done in school. So like we could kind of like reach out to them and see if there's anything that we could do for them. And then that's like just one of the groups that I know about. Like I don't know too many because I just came to Durham, but like we could find more and then reach out to them and see like if there's anything that we can do, because I feel like it would just be better like to do something for them rather than like nothing at all. Like if we
Yeah.
can help.
Okay, yeah, so Reality Ministries is one. I actually don't have as much familiarity with them. I've never like visited. So I feel like if DDA wanted to do more fundraising, which historically we haven't really done fundraising, but if that's something that
Really,
students
the
want
only
to do.
time we ever really considered it was when we were in debt.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I remember that. So yeah, I would recommend that one or two people from DDA would check out the place and talk to people there and get a sense of like whether we could contribute and how. The group that I'm more in touch with on a regular basis is the Alliance of Disability Advocates in Raleigh, which is for the Triangle and surrounding counties. So it services Durham as well, and that's the Center for Independent Living. And so just in terms of, because like I don't know Reality Ministries in terms of their like political project. I know with Alliance of Disability Advocates, it's a Center for Independent Living, which means that it grows out of the independent living movement, which is also where disability rights activism comes from and originates, and also where disability studies scholarship gets its inspiration. So I would know that more, at least in terms of our sense of disability justice as being about empowering people rather than seeing them as recipients of charity or care, or cure. Seeing it as more like, well, what do you need, you know what I mean, to thrive in your life, and like what accommodations would mean that you have maximum autonomy and agency. And so that's what ADA is about. And so yeah, we could, if you guys were interested in seeing this club as fundraising, and if you see that as a better way to connect with the community outside than other projects, that would be an option, and I could represent your ideas to ADA and see what they think, and if they want to partner with y'all more in the future. We'll be going to a board meeting the end of November with ADA. So if we had ideas for partnering with them, it would be pretty easy for me to represent those ideas at the meeting. But yeah, so we'd have a few weeks to kind of think about, do we want to kind of work with them on something, or just even do a fundraiser or participate with fundraisers that they are already planning for themselves, there's lots of options there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then also, I don't know if GBA does this already, but like we could like also go to like these organizations and just like volunteer our time there, because at least like for Reality Ministry, like I know you can like just go and like hang out with those people and kind of like just like do stuff with them. So like that's like something that we could do too, if
Yeah.
it's not necessarily fundraising. It's like maybe it's like another use of the time.
Yeah.
And we're looking to like do partnership for service.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, again, it's your club, and this club can be whatever you guys want and whatever you want to do with it, I can help you do that, but I don't want to make your decisions for you in terms of how you want to spend your time and, you know, whether you want to be a fundraising group or not, because we haven't historically been, but that doesn't mean that we can't. So, yeah, if there's a significant number of students in DDA that would like to get beyond Duke a little bit more, yeah, these are ways that it could be more manageable, I think, than like trying to go into Durham and just govern, you know what I mean? Like re-govern and, you know, make the whole city accessible, because we, you know, we have very little power and little manpower too, because there's not that many of them.
We can honestly connect the Durham accessibility with this fundraiser for, with like fundraising ideas, for Durham and accessibility groups in general. We have a lot on our plate right now, but I do think that, since, you know, getting off campus is in the works in the future, we can kind of combine the two together.
Down here and it's down, right?
I mean, they're both related in the fact that it's not on campus.
That's fair, that's very fair.
What's the ministry that someone mentioned?
What is the ministry, Simon?
Reality ministry.
Yeah, reality.
Lots of food for thought. I guess we can,
It's a big decision
yeah.
to increase our, I feel like this would really increase our like commitment to outside Durham, which I think is necessary. It's just that we need the people, B, the time. So depends on how we can distribute.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to like keep up with UA and like Durham and Regional Affairs like committee. If they want to make this their, I know like vice presidents have to have like a big project that they are working on for
Really?
like the entire year. I don't know exactly what this project is, but ask and maybe we can see if maybe not like necessarily hand it off to DSG, but if they want to consider like giving some like people and time towards it. Yeah, okay.
Is there a DSG committee for connecting to Durham?
Yeah, it's Durham and Regional Affairs.
Okay, so maybe if next semester or, you know, whenever we have less on our plate, if we wanted to do more of the community outreach kind of thing, work with them, you know, I mean, they've been great allies on other projects, so it might, I mean, not that specific committee, but other DSG committees have been great allies. So, you know, if we're having ideas for things to do beyond Duke and you need more people to help, I would talk to them first.
I guess that's like a good way to split up the time. Given how we're nearing the end of this semester, we can just keep focusing on outreach within campus for now, and then talk more about like getting out to Durham starting next semester.
I think I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I feel like we should just start planning on getting to Durham, or like at least ask
Yeah, at
Ula,
least keep-
ask Ula about it.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
Ula's the vice president of the outreach. Okay.
Can you send me the email address of the young woman who was there last week who was asking me about connecting to Durham, because I never got a message from her, and I just wanted to share with her the email of the person who's in charge of the committee for persons with disabilities in Durham, just so that she has that contact info. So I just wanted to connect her to that information, but I never got her email address, so.
Are you talking about Ula and Ariel, or?
Were they sorry, it's harder to remember names when I don't meet you in person, you know, I only saw them through the computer, so and they were in the distance, so if you could just share their email address, or maybe you already did and I just missed it, but
Yeah, I think it's one that I like CC'd them on an email that you had sent out.
Oh, yeah, that was to connect them to my students, okay. So I can just pluck them from there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll deal with it, thanks.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. Awesome.
Right.
That's good. And I think that's it for now in terms of talking about our stuff. But yeah, Akin, who is the mental health group that on campus who's created like a really awesome website. But they're doing a minority mental health talk this Thursday. So if any of you are interested, would highly recommend you go. I may try to go myself for a little bit.
6:30 to 7:30.
6:30, 7:30, Thursday.
Great.
Yeah.
That's the one that what was her name? I'm forgetting her name right now, but she came and she told
She talked to us.
she talked to us about it.
Yeah.
That was the last meeting I was at.
She didn't say that we needed to do anything for that, right? Because she already planned.
No,
already
it was
planned
more
it.
like if you're interested in getting involved with them, here's a link to like sign up and.
Okay.
And then we were all like, wow, this website's awesome, we should do that.
Yeah.
Do
Thanks, guys. Any last thoughts, ideas, questions, emotional monologues?
Oh, you mentioned. No kidding.
I can't wait for the break.
I guess we can break. Good job, team.
Right.
Okay, bye everybody. Great to see you all.
Everyone.
Bye.
Say bye.